So you want to build a road bike and you want to know what tools you'll need and what it's going to cost. I'll use my most recent bike build project, the Cannondale SuperSix Evo High Mod, as an example to let you know what tools I used and their cost. Along with that, I'll give some alternative tool selections if you're just getting started or on a budget. The tools I use and recommend aren't the most expensive or best tools out there, but they have worked well and been reliable for me on my home bike builds and bike repairs. Let's get started. First thing that you'll need is a bike repair stand. Mine is a discontinued Park Tool PCS11 and I've had it for over 10 years and it still works great. A comparable updated model is the Park Tool PCS 10.3, which retails for about $255. Some less expensive alternatives is this wall or bench mounted one for $50 or this one from Amazon for $99. First tools on the list are two sets of Allen wrenches, a normal L set from Harbor Freight for $7 and a T-handle set for $8. While you can get away with just the L set, I think the T-handle set will save you time and is worth the cost. I also use a Torx T25 Park Tool wrench for tightening the stem bolts which Zip uses. This can also be replaced with a cheap L T25 wrench for less than $5. Next, I use a Pro brand Lockring tool for $25. This can be replaced with a less expensive tool without the handle like this one for $5 or a Park Tool one for $10. You just have to use your own wrench on the outside to tighten and loosen the lock rings. I used a Wheels Manufacturing bearing press for the press fit bottom bracket for $65. Bottom bracket tools are very dependent on the parts that you choose, and most bikes are going away from the press fit bottom brackets, so this isn't a tool I would recommend. Most bottom bracket tools from Park Tool are around $30, and there are some less expensive ones like this for around $10. There's no universal tool for installing bottom brackets, so make sure you get the right tool that fits the parts that you're installing. For bleeding the brakes, I use the Shimano kit for $50. This kit includes accessories for both road and mountain bikes. An alternative is this bleed kit for Shimano Road for $30. I haven't used this, but I heard it works well from other people. I also used an 8mm ratcheting gear wrench for $14. The ratchet isn't useful in this build, so you could use a standard wrench for about $5. Next is the Shimano crank arm install tool for $3. There are more expensive ones out there with handles, but you don't want to over torque your crank bearings anyway, so this tool being small helps prevent that. Then we have the Shimano Di2 plug tool for $5. You can get away without this, but you run more risk of damaging the cables, so it's probably worth the price. I used the SRAM disc brake barb driver tool for $30 and the SRAM hydraulic line cutters for $22. These work well for Shimano also and aren't necessary, but make cutting the hose and installing the barb much easier. An alternative is using the Shimano brake tubing vise block for $5. This tool holds the line tight without damaging it while cutting and installing the barb. Next is the chain tool. I use an older version of this one here and have had it for many years. There are many cheaper alternatives out there like this one, but I would recommend staying with well-tested brands for safety. Then we have a set of scissors for $5 and a roll of electrical tape for about $2 a roll. This is for cutting the handlebar tape and locking down the ends with electrical tape. This one is unnecessary, but I really like the grease gun for $12. You can easily just use the tube the grease comes in like this for $10, but the grease gun lets you apply grease with one hand without having to undo the cap each time you use it. I broke down all the tools I used on the Cannondale build and their cost on the left, and the least expensive alternative suggested tools that could be used to build a bike on the right. I would add $50 if you don't want a bench-mounted bike stand, but even then you're around $200, which is less than what you would pay for labor for a custom bike build at a bike shop. I hope this information is useful, and let me know in the comments of any suggestions for great tools for bike mechanics on a budget. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.